Podcast. What is up? Kelly Ainsworth here. I'm a full-time personal trainer, online lifestyle coach, and a IFBB fitness bikini athlete. I hope everyone is keeping well and staying safe at home. We'll be doing a podcast with John, aka the Supplement Advisor, in the near future. So I'm really looking forward to that. So look out for those details, guys, and I'll see you there.
Yo guys, what is going on? Anyways, this is a Supplement Advisor, as everyone knows, John. Alright guys, so this interview is a bit different, the podcast, because Kelly and myself had a bit of an issue with the podcast recording. It just was not connecting her to the actual podcast, so it's basically her on the solo, which is still cool and good, because at the end of the day, it's her story, so that's great. So listen up guys, and there's obviously a reason why I wanted Kelly on in the first place, because she is influential and she has had a fair share of experiences, of course, and plenty of success as well. So it will definitely be cool to see what she says, guys. So listen up and enjoy. Cheers.
Okay, so first up is how I got into the fitness industry. So in high school, I was bullied a little bit, and that resulted in me getting an eating disorder, which I've noticed from a lot of other bikini girls. This is actually quite common. Anyway, so that went on for quite a while, and it ended up getting quite bad, and I ended up getting really sick the one day. My mom took me to the doctor and she ran a full blood test, picked up on a few things, and my doctor was actually the one who advised me to start going to the gym and exercising, so that I can start producing more endorphins and serotonin, because I was also in a very depressed and dark space as well. So it was my doctor was actually the one who advised me to start going to the gym. Also, it would help increase my appetite as well, coming out of an eating disorder, being able to eat food again without feeling like, oh my God, I'm going to get fat and all of that. So I started training at the gym, and I enjoyed it. Obviously, you start to feel better, that feeling of, when you've had a great workout, you feel amazing. The community that I had at the gym as well was like a little family. Everyone was so supportive. Everyone was so helpful. And it was a really good space for me to be in, especially coming from being bullied. I felt safe, and I felt like, okay, this is my little space and these are my people and I'm so happy here. So I was really, loving the process. And then I was approached because Joe Manju and I actually used to train at the same gym, and he was one of the people that were always so supportive of me. And he actually came up to me the one day and asked me, have you ever thought of competing? Um, and at the time, I had no idea what it was. So I'll be honest, my first show, I didn't even know what I was getting myself into. But, you live and you learn. It was an experience. So he ended up introducing me to my first coach, which was Cindy Marshall. She's an amazing lady. So she really did get the fire burning inside of me. The first show that I did was East Coast Classic. I think it was in 2014 was my first show. And like I said, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And I wasn't really hooked from the first show, I must be honest. But then I said, okay, that was fun, but I'm not my thing, but I'll go and I'll watch the shows. So I took a break, and then I went to go watch another show, obviously as a spectator, and then that's when the FOMO hits, and I was like, okay, no, the next show I'm gonna do. That's how I got into the fitness industry. And then from there I competed 2014, 15, 16, and then I had a bit of a rebound. I took a break, and then the end of 2018 I came back. I made my comeback, and I was doing really well. End of last year, end of 2019, I got selected to go to World Championships in Budapest with the juniors, and that was a crazy, crazy experience. So got a few years of competing done, and really proud of all my achievements. Yeah, it's it's been a great journey, I won't lie. So I don't really have many regrets when it comes to that. Um, but yeah, it's been awesome. The women's competing now versus then. I would say that the fitness industry now has gotten a lot more competitive. I think with social media being such a big aspect of it now as well, there's a lot more almost like cattiness and drama, if I can say. I don't know. Like I remember when I first started competing, like it wasn't nearly as like drama and everything as it is now. Unfortunately, I do feel that social media does have a big role in that. But other than that, physique wise, I mean, the girls now are insane. I really do think the competition has gotten a lot harder over the years, and especially when I went overseas to Worlds last year. I mean, I am a small girl. You like when I, not right now, but when I'm prepping, I usually like I am quite petite and I'm like small, and I got tiny, tiny, tiny last year when I was prepping for Worlds, and it was the smallest I had been. I was in prep for virtually the whole entire year. So going back to if I've had any regrets in my competing history, honestly speaking, the only regret that I would say is that when you in prep for too long, it really does. It destroys you. It takes way too much out of you. By the end of last year, when I came back from Worlds, I was I was like, no, I'm done. I'm done. Um, I wouldn't say that I'm never going to compete again. That I don't know, but as of now, I don't have any shows planned. I don't have any desire to compete again, at least not for a very long time. But yeah, that's another topic. But yeah, when I was overseas last year for Worlds, I mean, these girls are next level tiny. As I said, I got really, really, really small, and I came in the tiniest and the leanest that I possibly could have, possibly the most conditioned I have ever been. And I mean, these girls next to me on stage, they literally looked even smaller. It was madness. That being said, I think that's also when something clicked inside my brain where I realized, okay, this right now is not for me. Because as much as I can admire the competitive sports and I can admire the physiques that our bodies are able to achieve, through hard work and consistency, and I love the process of it, in all honesty, it's not a look for me that I personally enjoy. I'm more of a fan of the off-season look, the fuller look, also just the lifestyle that comes with it. So when I was overseas last year and I saw how tiny the girls were, and I'm not saying that I was disappointed in what I had brought. I mean, I was like freaking proud of the physique that I had achieved. It was the best that I had ever looked on stage. But when I saw how small the other girls were, I thought to myself, if I had to work the whole entire year to get this tiny, and they're asking for even smaller than what I am, I'm sorry, this this is not for me. The girls looked great, but in my honest opinion, I just felt like the look was a bit too small for my liking. It's not something that I would want to achieve personally speaking. I understand from a competitive aspect, there's a certain criteria and you need to look a certain way for that criteria. I understand that completely. I can admire the hard work that they've put in for it, but it is not something that fits my body, in all honesty. So that's also kind of what clicked for me and made me realize that, I'm not, I've enjoyed my time competing, but right now it's not for me. And, I'm happy to take a break. And then if I ever do want to come back and compete again, I've got to really look at what is going to suit my body more, because I am not willing to break my body down or change my training in a way that I'm going to dislike the process. Um, so yeah, there's a note on that. The biggest obstacles I have faced would be obviously when you are in prep. A lot of people don't understand the sacrifices that the athletes go through, and you do sacrifice a lot of your freedom, and also you sacrifice a lot of your family time, a lot of your social time. And looking back, I don't have many regrets, as I've said, with competing, but I do know that I have given up a lot of time. I've sacrificed a lot of time with my family as well. For instance, last year when I traveled over to Budapest for World Champs, my grandfather from the UK was actually down in South Africa, and I didn't get to see him. And I only ever see him, she's probably like, I think the last time I saw him was a couple of years ago. So that was a bit upsetting for me. So you do sacrifice a lot, and then, like I said, if I was in the mind space I am now, I'd be like, no, that's not right. Family comes first. But when you are in that state of mind, when you're prepping and that is your focus, that is your priority, it's crazy how your brain works. But obviously, people don't understand what athletes go through, and also a lot of the comments that we get really, really do get to me. So, like I said, I got really small, and this happens in all preps. I mean, you lose body fat, you lose a bit of size, you lose a bit of fullness, you do get a bit moody, all of that. And people who have never competed start to make comments on you like they think it's okay. But it's rude. It's like, I had people coming up to me saying, "Oh, no, you've gotten too thin now. I actually don't like you like this." And I was like, "What the fuck? Like, you can't say that. That's so mean." Like, the ones that actually I lost it because I had so many people coming to me saying, like, "Oh, no, but don't get any smaller. No, this is enough now. Like, you've lost too much now. Like, oh, no, you're going to lose your bum. Oh, no, no, you're too skinny. And oh, no, just have this. Just have this. No, I don't like how you look right now." Eventually, I turned around and I was like, "Okay, so can I give you my opinion on your body now? Is that what we're doing? Can I tell you what I think of you?" And then you just see how their faces change and whatever, because then they realize, like, oh shit, I'm actually being a bit of a dick. I don't know if I can swear on this thing, so I hope that's okay that I'm saying that. But yeah, I mean, I would say that that is another thing that competitors really do, get a lot of, is all the negative comments that people probably don't even realize that they're being negative. People probably don't even realize that they're being offensive. They're just like, oh no, I'm just telling them, oh, I think, you know, you've, they're just giving you an opinion. They're just concerned about you or whatever. But truth of the matter is that, we do this because it's a sport. We do this because we need to fit a certain criteria, and we're doing this for ourselves. So we don't really need all the negative comments and opinions coming from other people. I would say that is probably one of the biggest obstacles and also one of the biggest peeves that I have when it does come to competing. Um, Another peeve that I do have, as I've mentioned before, is the fact that there's a lot more like drama and animosity in the industry now. Um, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's a peeve, but it is one of those unfortunate things. It's also another big reason why I have stepped away from the competitive industry, because it all just gets too much, and then people start expecting more from you. Like, I've already had so many people ask me, when you're competing again, when you're competing again, and it's not my entire life. Like, I also have my own business, I'm my own person, I have a family, I have a social life, and there's more to life than just competing. And there was just so much drama going on in the industry that I thought, what, there's way more than just this. Um, and unfortunately, like I said, there is a bit of animosity. Um, and that does kind of, it put me off a little bit, because I was like, I'm so done with hearing about this person and that person, or somehow getting involved in this and then getting put in the middle of this and that and whatever. So I want to take a step out of that, also just to live a normal life for a bit, and focus more on my own business, on my own personal life, give back time to my family. And it's been amazing, honestly. That's why I say I don't know when or if I will ever be competing again, because honestly, I've found such a good balance now that you don't need competing to be in shape or to feel relevant or whatever. Competing is a personal decision, and when I feel like, okay, I want to get back on stage again, then I will. But it's not something that you should do to feel relevant or to feel like, whatever. Um, and also another reason why I've taken a bit of a step out of, well, a step back from social media, because again, a lot of that drama does come through social media and whatever. So I've gone a bit quiet on my social media. I still post things every now and then, But it's not, again, it's not really much of a priority for me. I don't feel like I need to post something every day. It does get very draining. So yeah. Importance of mental health in the industry, I would say this is something that a lot of people tend to look over or they neglect it. Again, like I said, when you do prep, you your mindset does change a lot, and you do become more focused on yourself, your image, and you tend to neglect the mental side of it. And also with dieting and everything, you do go through moods. Your mind does play tricks on you, and it gets crazy. But with your mental health, I would say for me, I was struggling really badly with my mental health in 2016 when I hit my rebound, and it just went downhill from there. Like everything was a mess, and I was a mess. And then I would say, honestly, the only time I really started seeing a change in my body and actually started to enjoy my training again and actually enjoy like the fitness and the health lifestyle again was when my mind had changed. I changed my mindset and I shifted to being more positive. I started, you know, speaking more positive affirmations to myself. I started practicing more self-love and self-appreciation. And instead of looking at things like my body's changed, I don't like my body and da da da, whatever, I started looking at the things my body was able to do. Like, okay, my body has gotten stronger, or I'm still able to train, I'm still able to do this, so this has improved. So I started speaking more positively to myself, and then that made the biggest difference when I decided to compete again, because then obviously my mind was in it as well. um, and when I had my mind in it, I was so focused. I followed my plan to the absolute T. Everything was 1,000% accurate. I did everything that I was supposed to do because I felt like my mind was in it and I felt good. I was positive. And that was honestly the best prep I ever did, was 2018. Was the best prep I ever had. Also very fortunate that my coach, Grant Ramsey, did keep my health as a priority. He always has. So I never felt like my health was in jeopardy or my mental health was in jeopardy. Like I was in a pretty good space, and that made the biggest difference in my prep. And that's was my comeback year, and I couldn't have asked for it to be any better. Like I was so happy. 2019, like I said, it was a very long prep for me. I came out of my 2018, I was really happy, had a few months off season, and then it was back on prep again. Um, and at that time, I had also just moved back to Durban from Cape Town. It was a very hard time for me because obviously I left my career behind in Cape Town, and I had built that over 2 years of living there, and it was going really well. And then I moved back to Durban, and obviously it was a bit of a rough start. Went through a whole lot of shit then, and that did start to affect my mental health again. And in resulting with that, obviously with the prep as well, being a prep for way too long, I'll be honest in saying that my prep last year, 2019, was not happy. Like I would still follow my plan, but there were times where I was like, no, no, I'm done. I can't do this. I can't do this. And it did make a big difference, I feel, to me, because I was no longer happy in doing what I was doing in competing and standing on stage. I was just doing it because I was like, no, I've set out to do this. I need to do this. And I'm glad I did it now looking back. But it was probably one of the hardest years of prep that I had to go through. Um, and how I got sponsored would be, I've never really messaged sponsors myself. Um, I just don't feel that that's right. I don't know. I've always felt that if a brand sees me and sees my personal brand, and they feel that, okay, she would do really well in a partnership with us, she's got our kind of vibe, I really like to see her with us, kind of thing. Then if they can see the value that I'm bringing, then they'll contact me. I don't really like asking for things, even just like with everything. Like if I need something from my family, like let's say if I was struggling financially, I cannot reach out to my parents and ask for money or anything. I don't know. I hate asking for things. I don't know why, but I've never been able to. So I've never messaged a sponsor and been like, hey, please sponsor me. This is what I've done. This is what I've achieved. This is what I'm doing. I've always kind of just, I've put my personal brand out there. I'm very honest on my Instagram. I always have been. I keep it real. I post random stuff. I post good stuff about fitness and like tips and whatever, workouts. And then if a brand or a company sees that and they like it and they are interested, then they'll reach out to me. And that's exactly what they did do. Um, Chrome had messaged me asking if I had any current supplement sponsors, and I said, no, I haven't. And I got speaking with them, had a good conversation, and then I got signed with Nutrix. And honestly, they've been incredible. I've been with them for just over a year. Um, and they've been super helpful throughout my whole journey with them. I mean, my trip to Worlds last year, they helped out massively with that. The team, the Chrome team and the Nutrix team, both local and international, have been so amazing with their support. Like, not only just, with the supplements, but also just like the communication. They message me, ask me how I'm doing. I've got a good relationship with them. You really do feel the difference when it's a partnership, like purely just, okay, there's your stuff, you post for us, whatever, or if there's actually a relationship in the partnership. And I do feel that is something that Chrome and Nutrix both have. So I'm very happy to be a part of them. And yeah, the obligations for that. I mean, a lot of people think like, oh, it must be so nice to be sponsored. It's so easy. It is nice to be sponsored because the stuff is great. But obviously, there are things that come with it. You do need to, be active on your social media. And as I've mentioned, there are times where either I feel like I've got nothing of value to post, or I just feel like, oh, I don't feel like posting. I don't feel like this is something that is like worthy of sharing. I don't know. It sounds weird, but obviously we do need to be posting with the products, and we do need to be representing the products. So not just taking the free stuff that we get. You've got to kind of live the brand, which I'm really happy with doing for Nutrix, because I've used their stuff both in season and off season, and it works perfectly fine within my competition prep and within my lifestyle. So easy for me. But like I said, it does get difficult with the constant, having to be on social media, or I need to post this many times a week, I need to do this many things. So yeah, that would be the obligation side of it. And obviously, like, if you are representing Nutrix, you can't be rocking up in the gym with like a different brand apparel and talking about this or promoting this thing and that thing, or whatever. So you have to really live the brand. The future goals that I have, as I mentioned before, like, I don't really see competing happening in my future, or at least not for a very long time. So competitive wise, my future goals, I don't really have any right now. As well as getting my pro card has never really been a big thing for me. It's never been something that I've desired to chase. Like I said, I enjoy competing because it's a personal decision, and I like the challenge. I like the process. So I don't know. Having my pro card has never been like one of those things that I feel that I need or is a priority. My priority and my goals are everything to do with like my business, the relationships that I have with my clients, how I'm going to strengthen that, how I'm going to make my business better, how I'm going to grow my business, the future plans that I have, in what other avenues I can take, both within my current business and also outside of it. So things like that. I mean, I've got a lot of exciting things planned for after lockdown, when I go back to work. Um, Different things that I can do for obviously clients outside of the gym as well. Doing like group sessions, but on a outside venue, things like that. And yeah, just focusing more on myself and yeah, I'm really happy with where I currently am at with my life and everything. So like I said, competing really doesn't have a place in that right now. And to finish off, I see you've got words to live by. Something that I just thought of earlier today is that's quite relevant, but also quite cliche, is motivation is just a feeling, but drive is what keeps you going. And like I said, I know it's very cliche, but it's something that's so relevant because I get a lot of messages from people asking how I stay motivated, and especially now in the current situation that we are being in lockdown, how do I stay motivated? And the truth is, I'm not. Like, I've been in the fitness industry for so many years. I'm still learning. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I still learn new things. I don't know everything. I know that for a fact. And experimenting, what works, what doesn't, because everyone's different. You can't have one person as a textbook and okay, that must work for everyone. It doesn't work that way. So I get asked a lot, what keeps me motivated, and like I don't feel motivated all the time. Even after years of training and years of learning, I'm not motivated all the time. I have a lot of days where I don't feel like training, especially now in lockdown, because my training for so many years has been within a gym and I know what I'm doing there, and now I've had to completely change and now using what I've got around the house, and it's been difficult. And I do obviously have some days where I'm not motivated to do a home workout, but I do it because I love my training and I love how it makes me feel. So even when I don't feel motivated, I'll still get up, I'll still get into my gym clothes, I'll still go and do a workout, and then afterwards I feel great. So, you know, motivation is not, if you're relying on motivation to get you through a workout or get you to achieve your goals, it's not gonna work. You need to be consistent and you need to be dedicated to your goals, so that even when you do have those days where you don't feel motivated to train or you don't feel motivated to stick to your diet or whatever, then at least you've got the drive to keep you going and you still get the work done, you still stay consistent, because there's no magic truth behind it that, if you just do this or this and this, whatever. The key to success is consistency. So if you're wanting to achieve a certain goal, you have to remain consistent with it. And that